The morning sun cast long shadows through the crystal trees as Dr. Hana Kim walked the forest path. Her boots crunched softly on the glowing sand beneath her feet. Kepler 442b was a strange world, but she had grown to love its beauty over the past 6 months. Hana carried her sample kit and scanner as she made her daily rounds. The research outpost needed fresh data on the local plant life. Earth Command wanted to know if this planet could support human colonies. So far, everything looked promising. The crystal trees hummed softly in the alien breeze. Their transparent trunks caught the light and threw rainbows across the forest floor. Hana had never seen anything like them back on Earth. Sometimes she wondered if she was dreaming. She stopped to collect samples from a cluster of blue flowers when she heard it. A soft whimpering sound came from behind a fallen crystal log. Hana froze. In 6 months on this planet, she had never heard anything make that kind of noise. Moving slowly, Hana crept toward the sound. Her heart pounded in her chest. The research team had found no signs of large animal life on Kepler 442b, only small insects and simple plant forms. But this sound was different. It sounded like pain. Behind the log, Hana found something that made her gasp. A creature lay curled on its side, barely breathing. It looked like a wolf, but wrong somehow. It had 6 legs instead of 4. Its fur glowed with a soft blue light that flickered like a dying candle. The creature was small, about the size of a human child. Its eyes were closed, but Hana could see they were large and dark. Blood seeped from wounds on its side. Whatever had hurt, it was long gone. Hana knelt beside the creature. Up close, she could see it was beautiful despite its injuries. The glowing fur felt soft under her touch. The creature whimpered again when she moved it gently. She activated her comm unit. "Tae-wan, come in." Dr. Tae-wan's voice crackled through the speaker. "What is it, Hana? Find something interesting? I need you to get to my location right now. Bring the medical kit, the big one." "Medical kit? Hana, what did you find out there?" Hana looked down at the dying creature. "Something that changes everything." 20 minutes later, Tae-wan arrived with the medical supplies. He stopped dead when he saw the creature in Hana's arms. "What is that thing?" "I don't know," Hana said. "But it's dying. Help me get it back to the lab." They carried the creature carefully through the crystal forest. It was heavier than it looked, but still light enough for 2 people to manage. The creature's breathing grew weaker with each step. Back at the outpost, they placed it on the medical table. The facility was small but well equipped. Hana had everything she needed to study alien life forms. She just had never expected to find one. Tae-wan ran the scanner over the creature's body. "The readings are strange. Its body temperature is all wrong. And look at this brain activity." Hana studied the readouts. The creature's neural patterns were unlike anything in their database. Complex waves moved through its brain in patterns that seemed almost musical. "It's in pain," she said. "Look at these stress indicators." She tried standard pain medications, but nothing worked. The creature's vital signs continued to drop. Whatever was wrong with it, human medicine was not the answer. Hours passed. Hana tried everything she could think of: antibiotics, surgical repair of the wounds, even experimental treatments. Nothing helped. The creature was dying and she could not stop it. As the alien sun set outside, the creature began to shake violently. Its glowing fur flickered faster like a strobe light. Hana knew it did not have much time left. She sat beside the medical table, feeling helpless. In her entire career as a xenobiologist, she had never felt so frustrated. Here was proof that complex life existed on other worlds, and she was about to watch it die. The creature made a sound that broke her heart. It was not quite a whimper and not quite a cry. It was the sound of something calling out in its final moments. Something asking for comfort it would never receive. Without thinking, Hana began to hum. It was an old Korean lullaby her grandmother had sung to her as a child. The melody was simple and soft, a song meant to calm and comfort. The creature's shaking stopped immediately. Hana looked up in surprise. The creature was still breathing, but the violent tremors had ended. Its glowing fur had stopped flickering, and now pulsed gently in rhythm with her humming. She continued the lullaby, watching in amazement as the creature's vital signs began to stabilize, not improve but at least stop getting worse. The scanner showed its brain activity changing, becoming more organized. "Hana," Taewon whispered. "What are you doing?" "I don't know," she whispered back, never stopping her song. "But it's working." She sang through the night. When one lullaby ended, she started another. Korean folk songs her mother had taught her. Simple melodies that seemed to reach something deep inside the dying creature. By morning, the creature was stable, not healthy, but no longer on the edge of death. Its wounds had even begun to heal slightly. Hana's voice was hoarse, but she kept singing. Taewon brought her water and throat lozenges. "This is impossible," he said. "How can singing help an alien life form?" Hana sipped the water gratefully. "I don't know, but look at the neural scans. When I sing, its brain patterns become more organized. The pain responses decrease." She looked down at the creature, which seemed to be sleeping peacefully now. "I think music affects its nervous system somehow. Maybe its species evolved to respond to certain sound frequencies. Or maybe you're going crazy from isolation," Taewon said. "Hana, you've been out here alone for months. Sometimes the mind plays tricks." But Hana knew what she had seen. This creature, whatever it was, had responded to human music in ways that defied explanation. She had found something wonderful and terrible on this distant world. A life form that might hold secrets about the connection between sound and healing. She settled back into her chair and began another lullaby. The creature's fur glowed brighter, as if it were somehow drawing strength from her voice. Outside, the crystal trees caught the morning light and filled the lab with dancing rainbows. Hana sang, and for the first time since finding the creature, she allowed herself to hope. 3 days had passed since Hana first sang to the wounded creature. She had barely slept, taking turns with Taewon to watch over their patient. The creature was getting stronger, but slowly, too slowly for Hana's comfort. She had started calling. It bit because of its small size. The name seemed to fit somehow. Bit would lift its head when she sang and make soft sounds back to her, almost like it was trying to sing along. On the 4th morning, Hana made a discovery that changed everything. She was running brain scans while humming a traditional folk song when she noticed something strange on the monitor. "Taewon, look at this," she called out. Her colleague rushed over to see what she had found. The brain scan showed Bit's neural activity in real time. As Hana sang, certain areas of the creature's brain lit up like a Christmas tree. But these were not the normal areas that processed sound. These were the regions connected to healing and immune response. "That's impossible," Taewon said, staring at the screen. "Music cannot directly affect the immune system like that." But the evidence was right in front of them. When Hana sang, Bit's body literally began healing itself faster. The wounds closed more quickly. The infection markers in its blood dropped. Even damaged brain tissue showed signs of repair. Hana sat down heavily in her chair. What if this species evolved differently than us? What if they use sound not just for communication, but for medicine? She began running more tests. Different songs produced different effects. Slow, gentle melodies helped with healing. Faster rhythms seemed to boost energy levels. Complex harmonies made Bit's brain activity more organized. The most amazing discovery came when Bit started singing back. It began as soft humming sounds that matched Hana's melodies, but over the next few hours, Bit began creating its own songs. Strange, beautiful sounds that made the crystal walls of the lab vibrate gently. When Bit sang, the scanner showed that Hana's own brain responded. She felt calmer, more focused. Her headache from days of little sleep disappeared completely. "We're seeing a two-way effect," she told Taewon excitedly. "Bit's species and humans might be naturally compatible for some kind of sonic healing." Taewon was studying the data with growing amazement. If this is true, it could revolutionize medicine. Imagine being able to heal people just by singing to them. But their excitement was cut short by an urgent message from the main communications array. Captain Minsu's voice filled the lab with bad news. "All research personnel report to the command center immediately. We have received priority orders from Earth Command. Hana and Taiwan looked at each other with worry. Priority orders usually meant trouble. They made sure Bit was comfortable and secure before heading to the command center. Captain Min Su stood before a large display screen showing star charts. His face was grim as he addressed the small research team. Long-range sensors have detected a hostile fleet moving toward our sector, he announced. Intelligence suggests they are after the rare minerals on this planet. We have 48 hours to evacuate. The room filled with worried voices. 12 people had made Kepler 442b their home for the past year. Now they had to abandon everything. What about our research? Asked Dr. Li Jin, the geologist. We're on the verge of major discoveries. Here, Earth Command is clear, Min Su replied. Essential personnel and critical data only. The transport ship has limited space and cannot carry heavy equipment. Hana's heart sank. She looked at Taiwan, who already understood her problem. Bit needed the medical equipment to survive. The sonic therapy required precise frequency generators and monitoring systems. There was no way to transport all of that on the small evacuation ship. Worse, Bit was still too weak to survive in the ship's artificial environment. The creature needed the natural harmonics of the crystal planet to maintain its health. After the briefing, Hana returned to the lab with a heavy heart. Bit looked up at her with those large, dark eyes. The creature seemed to sense her distress and made soft, comforting sounds. I don't know what to do, she whispered to Bit. I can't leave. You here to die, but I can't stay and die either. She spent the next day working frantically to build a portable version of the sonic therapy equipment. But it was hopeless. The machines were too complex and too large. Even if she could make them smaller, they would not work properly without the lab's power systems. Taiwan tried to help, but they both knew the truth. There was no way to save Bit and evacuate at the same time. On the final night before evacuation, Hana made her decision. She would release Bit into the wild and hope for the best. Maybe the creature was strong enough now to survive on its own. Maybe it could find others of its kind. She carried Bit outside the lab for the first time since finding it. The crystal forest glowed softly in the alien moonlight. Bit looked around with wonder, as if seeing its home world with new eyes. Be safe, Hana whispered, setting Bit down gently. Find your family. Remember our songs. Bit looked back at her for a long moment. Then it walked slowly into the forest, its glowing fur disappearing among the crystal trees. Hana returned to the lab to pack the essential research data. Her heart felt empty. She had saved Bit's life only to abandon it when things got dangerous. It felt like the worst kind of betrayal. The evacuation ships would arrive in 6 hours. Soon she would leave this beautiful world forever, carrying only memories of crystal trees and alien songs. But as she worked, Hana noticed something strange outside. The forest was glowing brighter than usual, much brighter, and she could hear something in the distance that made her heart race. Singing. Not just one voice, but many. A chorus of alien voices rising together in the crystal night. Bit had returned, and it had not come alone. Hana ran outside and stopped in amazement. The crystal forest was alive with glowing figures. Hundreds of creatures like Bit moved between the trees, their fur creating patterns of blue and silver light. They surrounded the research outpost in perfect circles, layer after layer of alien forms. Taiwan, she called out. You need to see this. Her colleague rushed outside and nearly fell over in shock. How many are there? I count at least 200, Hana said, her voice filled with wonder. Maybe more. The creatures were not threatening. They sat calmly in their formations, watching the outpost with curious eyes. At the center of the closest circle, Hana could see Bit. The small creature looked healthy and strong, its fur glowing brighter than ever. Captain Min Su and the rest of the team came running from the command center. Everyone stared at the incredible sight. No one had ever seen anything like it. Are they dangerous? Asked Dr. Li Jin nervously. Before anyone could answer, movement came from the forest. A massive creature emerged from the crystal trees. It was clearly the same species as Bit, but 3 times larger. Its fur blazed with golden light, and it moved with the confidence of a leader. The giant creature approached the outpost's main gate slowly. Its eyes were fixed on Hana. When it reached the fence, it stopped and made a deep musical sound. Hana felt the sound in her bones. It was not threatening, but it was clearly important. The creature was trying to communicate. "The neural interface," she said suddenly. "We can try to translate." She ran back to the lab and grabbed the portable translation device. The technology was experimental, but it might work with these creatures' unique brain patterns. When she returned, the large creature was still waiting patiently. Hana activated the translator and pointed it toward the alien leader. Static filled the air for a moment. Then, slowly, words began to form. "You helped. Small one. Saved. Dying child." Hana's eyes went wide. "It's talking to me," the creature continued. "Pack. Knows. Small one. Told us. Human. Sang life back. Gave healing songs." Captain Min-Soo stepped forward carefully. "Can you ask what they want?" Hana adjusted the translator and spoke slowly. "We are glad we could help. What do you need from us?" The answer surprised everyone. "Danger comes. Sky hunters. We know. Felt their ships in the void. They take, destroy, kill. You helped Pack, child. Now Pack helps you." Dr. Tae-wan was studying his scanner. "Captain, these readings are incredible. The creatures are somehow connected to the planet itself. Look at these energy patterns." The geological data showed something amazing. The crystal formations throughout the planet were not just rocks. They were part of a vast network that could conduct and amplify sound waves. The creatures had evolved to use this network as a natural communication system. "They're trying to tell us something about the enemy ships," Hana realized. "They can sense them coming." The large creature, which she decided to call Ul, nodded, its massive head. "Sky hunters come soon before your flying cave arrives. We protect but need help, need harmony." "Harmony?" Hana asked. Ul gestured toward the circles of creatures surrounding the outpost. "Pack sings together, uses stone songs, makes sky hunters blind and deaf, but need human voices, need your healing sounds." Taiwan looked at his readings in amazement. The crystals can focus and amplify their voices across the entire planet. They're talking about turning the whole world into a defensive weapon. Captain Min-Soo checked his communicator. "The evacuation ships won't be here for another 3 hours, but long-range sensors are picking up something else. The hostile fleet is ahead of schedule. They'll be here in 90 minutes. Everyone looked at each other with growing fear. They were trapped between an incoming enemy fleet and a planet full of alien creatures they barely understood. "What are our options?" asked Dr. Lee Jin. "We can try to hide and hope the evacuation ships get here first," Min-Soo replied. "Or we can trust these creatures and help them fight." Hana looked at Bit, who had moved closer to the fence. The small creature's eyes met hers, and she felt a connection that went beyond words. These aliens had come to help because she had shown kindness to one of their children. "They're not just animals," she said. "They're intelligent. They have families, just like us, and they're offering to protect us." The debate was interrupted by alarms from the command center. Enemy ships had dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. 12 large warships, bristling with weapons and mining equipment. Captain Min-Soo made the decision quickly. "If these creatures can help us survive until the evacuation ships arrive, we have to try. What do they need us to do?" Ul seemed to understand the urgency. The translator crackled with its response. "Humans sing with Pack. Your voices make crystal songs stronger, much stronger, but danger. If song breaks, all die. Sky hunters will burn world." Hana looked around at her colleagues. They were scientists, not soldiers, but they were also the only hope for both species on this planet. "I'll do it," she said. "Bit saved my life in a way. These creatures showed me something beautiful about the universe. I won't abandon them now." One by one, the others agreed. Even Dr. Lee Jin, who had been most afraid, nodded his agreement as The enemy fleet began its approach toward the planet. Hana walked through the main gate to join the circle of alien creatures. Behind her came Taiwan, Minsu, and the rest of the human research team. Ul moved to make space for them in the formation. Bit came to sit beside Hana, its small form glowing with excitement. "Remember," Ul said through the translator. "When Sky Hunters come, we sing as one, all voices together. Planet will hear, planet will protect." Above them, the first enemy ships entered the atmosphere. Their massive forms blocked out the alien stars, weapon systems charged with deadly light. Hana took a deep breath and began the first song, the same Korean lullaby she had sung to save Bit's life. Around her, 200 alien voices joined in perfect harmony. The crystal planet began to sing back. The moment the pack began to sing, Hana felt the planet change around her. The crystal trees started to hum with deep, powerful vibrations. The ground beneath her feet pulsed with rhythm. Even the air itself seemed to carry music. Above them, the enemy ships suddenly began having problems. Their formation broke apart as pilots lost control of their navigation systems. Warning lights flashed across their hulls as communication arrays failed one by one. "It's working," Captain Minsu said in amazement. "Their sensors are completely scrambled." The alien pack continued their song, and Hana realized she was part of something incredible. Her human voice blended with the alien harmonies in ways that made the whole song stronger. When she hit certain notes, the crystal formations around the planet glowed brighter. Yul's voice rumbled through the translator. "Good. Sky Hunters confused. Cannot see targets. Cannot talk to each other. But they will adapt. Send ground fighters soon." As if responding to his words, the enemy ships began launching smaller craft. Dozens of attack shuttles dropped through the atmosphere, their pilots using manual controls to navigate. "They're landing troops," Sergeant Jin Woo reported from his position near the outpost. "About 2 kilometers from here. Maybe 50 soldiers plus combat vehicles." Captain Min Su made quick decisions. "Jin Woo, take defensive positions around the pack. We have to protect them while they maintain the song. If they stop singing, those ships up there will destroy us all." The human research team had limited weapons, but they were well trained. Earth Command required all deep space personnel to know basic combat skills. They spread out in defensive positions around the singing alien pack. Hana continued to sing, while watching the tactical situation develop. Enemy soldiers moved through the crystal forest using heavy weapons to blast through the trees. They were heading straight for the outpost and the pack. "Contact in 5 minutes," Jin Woo called. "Out." "They have energy weapons and shield generators. This is going to be tough." The first enemy soldiers appeared at the edge of the clearing. They were tall, thin aliens in powered armor. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy as they aimed at the singing pack. Jin Woo opened fire first. His plasma rifle sent bright bolts toward the enemy line. Other humans joined in, creating a wall of defensive fire around the pack perimeter. But the enemies had better weapons and more soldiers. They began pushing forward, their energy shields deflecting most of the human weapons' fire. "We can't hold them," Dr. Li Jin called out, firing his sidearm at an advancing enemy soldier. That was when Bit did something unexpected. The small creature left its position in the pack and ran toward the advancing enemies. But instead of attacking, Bit began to sing a different song. The new melody was sharp and focused. The crystal formations around the battlefield began to resonate with a higher frequency. Suddenly, the enemy energy shields flickered and failed. "Their technology can't handle the sonic interference," Tae-Wan shouted over the noise of battle. "The crystals are disrupting their equipment." More pack members broke off from the main group to join Bit's tactical song. They positioned themselves at key points around the battlefield, creating zones where enemy weapons would not work properly. The tide of battle began to turn. Human weapons could now hit their targets while enemy equipment malfunctioned. But the cost was high. Several humans fell defending their positions, and many alien pack members were killed trying to maintain their formations. Hana watched in horror as brave creatures died to protect her and her team. These aliens barely knew humans, but they were sacrificing themselves for strangers who had shown kindness to one small member of their pack. "We have to do more," she called out to Captain Minsu. "They're dying for us. What else can we do? We're not soldiers." Hana looked at the battle raging around them. Human and alien voices continued to blend in the great song that kept the enemy ships confused. But the ground battle was brutal and desperate. Then she had an idea. "The evacuation ships," she said suddenly. "They must be close by now. Can we contact them?" Minsu checked his communicator. "Signal's too scrambled by the sonic field, but you're right, they should be here soon." "What if we could guide them in? Use the planet's song to send them a beacon?" Taewon understood immediately. A focused sonic pulse, like a lighthouse made of music, but it would require precise coordination between human and alien voices. Ul heard their conversation through the translator. Despite the battle raging around them, the pack leader's voice remained calm. "Yes, can do, but dangerous. Must change main song. Ships above will see clearly for short time, may attack with big weapons." It was a terrible risk. Breaking the planetary defense song, even for a few minutes, would leave them vulnerable to orbital bombardment, but it might be their only chance to signal the evacuation ships. "Do it," Captain Minsu ordered. "On my signal." The ground battle intensified as more enemy soldiers pushed through the crystal forest. Jinwoo's defensive line was barely holding. Several humans had been wounded and the alien pack was taking heavy casualties. "Signal ready," Minsu called out. "Change the song. Now." Hana switched to a new melody, one designed to pierce through space and reach the evacuation ships. The alien pack followed her lead, their voices combining into a powerful beacon that shot upward through the atmosphere. Immediately, the enemy warships above regained their targeting ability. Weapon systems locked onto the research outpost and began charging for bombardment. But from the edge of the system, 3 Earth command ships dropped out of hyperspace. The evacuation fleet had arrived, guided by the musical beacon. Their weapons were already charging as they accelerated toward the planet. "Incoming fire," Jinwoo warned. "Enemy ships are targeting our position." Energy beams lanced down from orbit, but they struck crystal formations instead of the pack. The planet's natural structures absorbed and redirected the energy, turning the attack into harmless light shows. The pack had resumed their defensive song just in time. Once again, the enemy ships found themselves blind and confused, while Earth command vessels closed in for battle. In space above Kepler 442b, the real battle was just beginning. But on the ground, humans and aliens continued to sing together, their voices raised in harmony against the darkness. Hana looked at Bit, who had returned to sing beside her. The small creature's fur glowed with determination and courage. Together, they had forged an alliance that might save 2 worlds. If they could just hold on a little longer. The space battle above Kepler 442b was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Earth command ships fought with conventional weapons, while the planet itself fought back with song. Captain Minsu watched the tactical display in amazement. Every time an enemy ship tried to target the surface, the crystal formations would sing in harmony with the alien pack. The sonic waves disrupted targeting systems and made accurate firing impossible. "The enemy fleet is in full retreat," he reported. 6 ships destroyed, the rest withdrawing to hyperspace. But Hana barely heard him. She was focused on the incredible music filling the air around her. Human voices and alien songs had become one perfect harmony. The planet sang with them, crystal formations glowing like musical notes across the landscape. When the last enemy ship disappeared into hyperspace, the great song slowly came to an end. The alien pack members collapsed from exhaustion. Many humans fell to their knees, their voices hoarse from hours of singing. Hana looked around at the battlefield. Too many had died, both human and alien. But they had won something precious. They had proven that 2 different species could work together to protect each other. Bit came to her side, its small form glowing with pride and happiness. The creature had grown during the battle, not just in size but in confidence. It was no longer a dying pup, but a bridge between two worlds. "The evacuation ships are requesting permission to land," reported Dr. Tae-wan. "Earth Command wants to debrief everyone immediately." But Ul stepped forward, the massive pack leader's voice filling the translator with new words. "Humans stay. Pack wants humans to stay, learn together, sing together, make both species stronger." Captain Min-soo looked uncertain. "We have orders to evacuate. This planet is considered too dangerous for permanent settlement." "Dangerous for who?" Hana asked. "We just proved that humans and this species can defend the planet together. We created something the enemy had never seen before." She walked over to the nearest crystal formation and placed her hand on its smooth surface. The crystal hummed, softly at her touch, responding to her body's natural rhythms. "These crystals don't just conduct sound," she said. "They learn from it. Every song we sang today is stored in the planet's memory. The crystals can replay those songs when needed." Tae-wan ran his scanner over the crystal formations. "She's right. The planet has become a massive sonic database. It recorded everything we did here." The implications were staggering. Kepler 442b was not just a world with useful minerals. It was a living library of music and healing, maintained by an intelligent species that had learned to work with human voices. Over the next few days, Earth Command sent negotiation teams to the planet. They came expecting to find a simple mining operation. Instead, they discovered humanity's first true alien alliance. Dr. Hana Kim became the first human ambassador to the pack, which called themselves the Harmony Keepers. She worked with Bit, who had become the official translator between the species, to establish protocols for cooperation. The research outpost became a permanent embassy. More humans arrived, not as conquerors or miners, but as students and partners. They learned the alien healing songs while teaching human melodies in return. Bit grew into a full adult during those early months. Its fur had developed new patterns that seemed to reflect the hybrid music it had learned. Sometimes it would sing, pure alien songs, other times human melodies, and often beautiful combinations that belonged to both species. 6 months after the battle, Hana made her most important discovery. The crystal formations could project their stored songs across vast distances. Other worlds in the sector began reporting strange musical phenomena that seemed to have protective effects. "We've created something that could change the entire galaxy," she told Captain Min-soo during one of their regular meetings. "Imagine if every human colony had this kind of protection." The idea spread quickly through Earth Command. Within a year, volunteer teams were working with the Harmony Keepers to establish song crystals on dozens of worlds. Each installation was unique, combining local minerals with the musical knowledge stored on Kepler 442b. When hostile forces threatened these new colonies, they found themselves facing more than human defenders. Entire planets would sing against them, creating interference fields that made invasion nearly impossible. The galaxy began to change. Species that had never cooperated before started working together, inspired by the Human Harmony Keeper Alliance. Music became a universal language of peace and protection. Years later, Dr. Hana Kim stood in the great crystal cathedral that had grown around the original research outpost. Bit, now a wise elder of its pack, sat beside her as they watched new generations of humans and Harmony Keepers learning together. Children from both species played games that combined human creativity with alien harmony. Healers used song therapy to cure diseases that had once been fatal. Artists created music that could literally reshape matter at the molecular level. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't found you that day?" Hana asked her old friend. Bit's response came through the translator, but she could hear the warmth in its alien voice. "No wondering needed. Pack knows truth. Universe brings right beings together at right time. You sang to dying child. Child grew strong. Now whole galaxy sings with us." Outside the cathedral, crystal trees swayed in the alien breeze, their branches carrying melodies from 1,000 different worlds. Each song told a story of cooperation, understanding, and hope. Hana smiled as she heard her grandmother's lullaby woven into the planetary chorus. The simple song that had once comforted a dying alien pup had become part of something magnificent. A harmony that connected species across the stars and proved that the most powerful force in the universe was not conquest or technology, but compassion. The pack had taught humanity that strength came not from standing alone, but from singing together. And the galaxy would never be the same. In the distance, new ships arrived carrying more volunteers and students. The work continued, one voice at a time, one world at a time, building bridges of music across the cosmic dark. And at the heart of it all, a small alien creature that had once been dying now helped guide the future of two species toward a harmony that would echo through the stars for generations to come.